Respect isn't something you can demand, it's something you earn. And if you're wondering why people don't take you seriously, the answer might lie in your habits. The truth is, there are certain behaviors that silently sabotage your ability to command respect, no matter how hard you try. In this article, we'll explore 6 toxic habits that are holding you back and show you how to remove them so you can step into a life of integrity, self-respect, and admiration. This journey is deeply personal for me. I've lived through these habits, struggled with their consequences, and ultimately transformed my life by letting them go. What I'm about to share isn't just theory. It's experience, pain, and growth wrapped into actionable advice. So buckle up. This is more than a guide. It's an invitation to become the person you were always meant to be. Habit number 1, always making excuses. The death of accountability. Let me be brutally honest. Excuses are the fastest way to guarantee you'll never be respected. We all do it, blaming traffic, coworkers, or life when things don't go as planned. But here's the cold, hard truth. Nobody cares about your excuses. People respect results, not reasons. I used to be the king of excuses. Late to meetings? Traffic. Missed a deadline? My coworker didn't send me the file on time. Failed at something? Well, it wasn't my fault. It was circumstances beyond my control. For years, I thought having a reason excused my behavior. But over time, I noticed something alarming. Friends stopped trusting me, bosses stopped assigning me important tasks, and even my family subtly stopped relying on me. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Excuses don't make you look responsible. They make you look weak. Every time you blame external factors, you're telling the world, I'm not in control of my life. And guess what? No one respects someone who isn't in control. The turning point came when someone called me out. After showing up late yet again and blaming traffic, a colleague said, "Why didn't you leave earlier?" It stung, but they were right. That moment forced me to confront a painful reality. Every excuse I made was a way of saying, I'm not responsible for my own life. Here's the deeper message. Excuses aren't just words, they're mindset. They keep you locked in a victim mentality, always blaming outside forces for your failures. But when you take responsibility, everything changes. When I stopped making excuses and started owning my mistakes, people began to trust me again. It wasn't overnight, but slowly they saw the shift in my mindset. Instead of pointing fingers, I'd say, that was my bad. I'll do better next time. And you know what? People respected that far more than any elaborate excuse. The takeaway is simple. Stop lying to yourself. Every time you make an excuse, you reinforce the idea that you're not in control. If you want respect, you have to start respecting yourself enough to own your actions. Habit number 2, being lazy. The ultimate sign of wasted potential. If you're lazy, let me tell you this, nobody will ever respect you. Harsh, maybe, but it's the truth. You can have all the talent, intelligence, and dreams in the world, but if you sit around doing nothing, none of it matters. People don't respect potential, they respect action. I used to think I could coast by on my natural abilities. I was the guy who got decent grades without studying, completed projects at the last minute, and still managed to get by. Sure, people might have said, he's capable, but deep down, they didn't take me seriously. Why? Because laziness isn't a lack of ability, it's a lack of effort. And effort is what earns respect. One specific moment changed everything for me. I was part of a group project, and everyone had put in the work, except me. I figured I could contribute a little here and there and let others handle the heavy lifting. But when we presented, it was obvious who had done the work and who hadn't. The looks I got afterward, the subtle disappointment, made it clear I had lost their respect. Laziness is incredibly visible. People notice when you're slacking off, cutting corners, or avoiding hard work. Worse, laziness is contagious. When you don't pull your weight, you drag others down with you. They stop expecting much from you, and that's the death of respect. Here's the deeper truth. Laziness is a form of self-sabotage. It's not just about being tired or unmotivated. It's a mindset where you convince yourself that comfort is more important than growth. But the people who are respected are the ones who push through discomfort, tackle hard tasks, and show up even when they don't feel like it. I had to learn this lesson the hard way. Success isn't just about talent or intelligence. It's about persistence, hard work, and dedication. Laziness is the opposite of all that. It shows you're not willing to push yourself. And if you're not willing to do that, why should anyone respect you? Habit number 3, neglecting your personal appearance. First impressions matter. Here's something people won't often tell you. How you present yourself says more about you than you think. If you're neglecting your personal appearance, don't expect anyone to respect you. I used to believe that people should like me for who I am, not what I look like. So I'd roll out of bed, throw on whatever was clean, and call it day. I thought I was being real or authentic, but in reality, I was just being lazy. And you know what? It showed. People didn't take me seriously. I didn't command attention in meetings, and I certainly didn't give off an aura of someone who had it together. One day, I walked into an important event wearing wrinkled clothes, messy hair, and generally looking like I didn't care. The moment I stepped into the room, I could feel the difference in how people interacted with me. Meanwhile, those around me who had put effort into their appearance instantly commanded attention. Your personal appearance is a form of nonverbal communication. It tells the world, I respect myself and I take this seriously. When you dress with intention, groom yourself, and present yourself well, people notice. It's not about looking like a model. It's about showing that you value yourself enough to put in the effort. Neglecting your appearance sends the message that you don't care. And if you don't care, neither will anyone else. So take that extra time in the morning, put in the effort, and watch how people start to treat you differently. Habit number 4, ignoring boundaries. The art of respectful relationships. If there's one thing that will make people lose respect for you faster than you can blink, it's ignoring their boundaries. Boundaries are not optional, they're essential. When you dismiss or overlook them, you're telling people that their feelings, space, and comfort don't matter to you. I used to think being overly involved in people's lives was a sign of caring. I'd offer unsolicited advice, push my opinions, and constantly check in. But the reality was, I was suffocating them. One day, a close friend confronted me. I just need some space. It feels like you don't understand. That hit me hard. I had completely ignored her need for boundaries, and in doing so, lost her trust and respect. Ignoring boundaries is a fundamental misunderstanding of respect. It's about recognizing and honoring someone's autonomy, their right to say no, set limits, and protect their space. When you respect someone's boundaries, you're acknowledging that they are their own person with their own needs. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect. If you can't respect someone's boundaries, you can't expect them to respect you either. Start paying attention to the limits people set, whether subtle or direct. Don't take it personally. See it as an opportunity to show them that you respect them as individuals. Habit number 5, taking credit for others' work. The betrayal of integrity. Taking credit for someone else's work is one of the quickest ways to lose respect. It's unethical, dishonest, and a surefire way to sabotage your reputation. Early in my career, I was eager to make a name for myself. In a team project, I contributed fairly, but one colleague went above and beyond. When it came time to present, I subtly framed my words to make it seem like I had done more of the heavy lifting. At first, it felt great, the praise rolled in. But soon the truth came out. My colleague realized what had happened, and so did others. The admiration I had gained quickly turned to skepticism and disappointment. Stealing credit isn't just about hurting others. It's about hurting yourself. It's a reflection of insecurity and fear, not strength. When you take credit for someone else's work, you're essentially saying, I don't trust my own abilities enough to stand on my own 2 feet. True success comes from lifting others up, not pushing them down. Share credit, celebrate contributions, and build a reputation as someone who's fair, honest, and deserving of respect. Habit number 6, being emotionally reactive. The power of composure. Being emotionally reactive is one of the most destructive habits you can have if you want to be respected. It's not just about flying off the handle. It's about letting your emotions rule your actions, words, and decisions. I used to be a slave to my emotions. If something upset me, I'd lash out. If someone criticized me, I'd get defensive. Looking back, it's cringeworthy. I thought I was standing up for myself. But in reality, I was showing everyone how little control I had over myself. People admire those who remain calm under pressure, who can take criticism without losing their cool. Emotional reactivity signals instability and immaturity. When you stay composed, you gain respect and control over the situation itself. The key is understanding that while we can't control external events, we can always control our internal response. Choose to stay grounded, and you'll not only gain respect, but also maintain your dignity. Habit number 7, gossiping about others. The poison of trust. If you want to lose someone's trust and their respect, start gossiping about them behind their back. Gossip is insidious. It spreads like wildfire and leaves destruction in its wake. I used to think that sharing juicy tidbits about others made me more interesting or connected. But what I didn't realize was that every time I gossiped, I was chipping away at my own integrity. Here's the truth. People don't trust gossipers. If you're willing to talk negatively about one person, they assume you'll do the same to them when they're not around. It creates an atmosphere of distrust where no one feels safe confiding in you. And without trust, there can be no respect. I remember a specific incident that changed my perspective on gossip forever. A friend of mine had shared something personal with me in confidence. Later, during a casual conversation with another group of friends, I casually mentioned it. Not maliciously, but carelessly. Word got back to her, and the look of betrayal on her face still haunts me to this day. She stopped trusting me, and rightfully so. Gossip isn't just harmful to relationships. It's a reflection of your character. When you gossip, you're showing the world that you prioritize drama over discretion, judgment over empathy. People respect those who protect confidences, who speak kindly even when others aren't present, and who rise above petty conversations. The deeper message here is this: your words define you. Every time you gossip, you're telling people that you're unreliable, untrustworthy, and unworthy of respect. Instead of tearing others down, lift them up. Speak well of people, even when they're not around, and watch how much more others value your presence. Harmful habit number 8, being inconsistent. The death of reliability. Consistency is the cornerstone of trust and respect. If you're constantly changing your mind, breaking promises, or failing to follow through, don't expect anyone to take you seriously. Inconsistency sends a clear message. You can't be counted on. Early in my career, I prided myself on being adaptable. I thought flexibility was a strength, but I soon realized that constantly shifting priorities made me appear unreliable. Promises I made were forgotten, deadlines I set for myself went ignored, and commitments I agreed to were left unfulfilled. Over time, people stopped relying on me because they knew I wouldn't deliver. Inconsistency isn't just frustrating, it's disrespectful. When you make a promise, you're essentially saying, you can count on me. But when you fail to follow through, you're breaking that agreement. It's not just about forgetting or being busy. It's about showing people that their time, energy, and expectations don't matter to you. Here's the hard truth. Respect is earned through reliability. People admire those who show up consistently, who do what they say they'll do, and who keep their word. When you're inconsistent, you're signaling that you don't value yourself enough to hold yourself accountable. And if you don't value yourself, why should anyone else? To break this habit, start small. Make a commitment, even if it's something minor like responding to emails within 24 hours, and stick to it. Build a reputation as someone who follows through, and watch how quickly people begin to trust and respect you. Consistency isn't glamorous, but it's powerful. Show up, stay steady, and let your actions speak louder than your words. Harmful habit number 9, refusing to learn from mistakes. The stubbornness that kills growth. One of the most damaging habits you can have is refusing to learn from your mistakes. Everyone makes errors. It's part of being human. But the difference between those who earn respect and those who don't lies in how they handle failure. If you're defensive, dismissive, or unwilling to grow, you're sabotaging your potential for greatness. I used to hate being wrong. Admitting a mistake felt like admitting weakness, so I doubled down on bad decisions, justify poor choices and blame external factors instead of owning up. But the reality was, everyone could see right through me. My refusal to learn wasn't protecting my ego. It was stunting my growth and alienating those around me. Here's the deeper message. Growth requires humility. When you refuse to acknowledge your mistakes, you're essentially saying, I already know everything. And guess what? No one respects arrogance. People admire those who are open to feedback, who seek out opportunities to improve, and who view failure as a stepping stone rather than a dead end. Think about the people you respect most. Chances are they've faced setbacks, but they've also learned from them. They've turned failures into lessons and used those lessons to become better versions of themselves. That's the kind of person people trust and admire. If you want to earn respect, embrace your mistakes. Analyze what went wrong, figure out how to fix it, and commit to doing better next time. It's not about being perfect, it's about being teachable. When you show the world that you're willing to grow, you'll inspire others to do the same, and they'll respect you for it. Harmful habit number 10, failing to listen. The silent killer of connection. Listening is one of the most underrated skills in life, yet it's one of the most critical for earning respect. If you're always talking, interrupting, or waiting for your turn to speak, you're sending a clear message. You don't value other people's perspectives. For years, I thought being a good conversationalist meant dominating discussions. I'd jump in with my opinions, offer unsolicited advice, and barely hear what others were saying. What I didn't realize was that I was coming across as self-centered and dismissive. People stopped opening up to me because they knew I wasn't truly listening. Listening isn't just about hearing words. It's about understanding emotions, intentions, and needs. When you listen actively, you're showing people that you care about what they have to say. You're validating their thoughts and feelings, which builds trust and deepens connections. Here's the harsh truth. No one respects a bad listener. If you're constantly interrupting or steering conversations back to yourself, you're making it all about you, and that's exhausting for everyone else. People want to feel heard, seen, and understood. When you fail to provide that, you lose their respect. To break this habit, practice active listening. Put down your phone, maintain eye contact, and focus entirely on the person speaking. Ask thoughtful questions, paraphrase what they've said to ensure you understand, and resist the urge to interject. Listening is a gift you give to others, and when you give it freely, they'll return the favor by respecting and valuing you. Harmful habit number 11, being overly critical. The toxicity of constant negativity. If you're constantly criticizing others, or even yourself, you're creating an environment where respect cannot thrive. Criticism, when constructive, can be helpful, but when it's excessive or unwarranted, it becomes toxic. I used to think being critical made me look smart or insightful. In reality, it just made me seem bitter and insecure. Here's the truth. People don't respect negativity. When you're always pointing out flaws, you're not offering solutions. You're tearing things down. And when you criticize others, you're not holding them accountable. You're belittling them. This creates a culture of fear and resentment, not admiration. I remember a time when I was overly critical of my team at work. Every idea someone brought to the table was met with my disapproval. That won't work, I'd say, or you're missing the bigger picture. At first, they might have thought I was just being thorough, but over time, they stopped sharing ideas altogether. They didn't trust me, and they certainly didn't respect me. The deeper message here is this. Criticism without compassion is cruelty. When you criticize without offering support or understanding, you're showing people that you care more about finding faults than fostering growth. People respect those who uplift, encourage, and help others improve, not those who tear them down. To break this habit, focus on balance. If you have feedback, make sure it's constructive and delivered with kindness. Celebrate wins, acknowledge effort, and offer solutions instead of just pointing out problems. When you shift from being overly critical to being supportive, you'll notice a dramatic change in how people respond to you and how much they respect you. Harmful habit number 12, being indecisive. The frustration of inaction. Indecisiveness is a silent killer of respect. When you can't make up your mind, you're signaling to others that you lack confidence, clarity, and leadership. I used to struggle with decision-making because I was afraid of making the wrong choice. But what I didn't realize was that my indecision was far more damaging than any mistake could ever be. Here's the hard truth. Indecision breeds frustration. Whether it's choosing a restaurant for dinner or making a major life decision, people lose patience with those who can't commit. They see indecisiveness as a sign of weakness, a lack of ability to take charge and move forward. I remember a specific incident where my inability to decide cost me dearly. A friend asked me to join a business venture, but I kept wavering. Let me think about it, I'd say over and over again. By the time I finally made up my mind, the opportunity had passed. Not only did I miss out, but my friend also lost trust in me. He saw me as unreliable and hesitant, qualities no one respects. The deeper lesson here is this. Decisiveness is a form of courage. It's not about always making the right choice. It's about having the confidence to act, even when you're unsure. People respect those who can weigh options, make decisions, and stand by them. To overcome indecisiveness, practice making small decisions quickly. Start with low-stakes choices like what to eat or which movie to watch. Then, gradually work your way up to bigger decisions. Trust yourself to handle the consequences, whether good or bad. When you become decisive, you'll command respect because people will see you as someone who takes action and owns their choices. Harmful habit number 13, being ungrateful. The power of appreciation. Gratitude is one of the most underrated qualities in life, yet it's essential for earning respect. If you're ungrateful, you're essentially telling people that their efforts, time, and contributions don't matter to you. I used to take people for granted, assuming they would always be there, always willing to help. But the moment I stopped expressing gratitude, I noticed a shift in how they treated me. Here's the harsh reality. Ungratefulness repels people. When you fail to acknowledge someone's efforts, you're not just being rude, you're devaluing them. They start to feel unappreciated, and eventually they stop giving their best, or anything at all. I remember a time when a colleague stayed late to help me finish a project. Instead of thanking her, I acted like it was her job to assist me. She never offered to help again, and our working relationship became strained. Looking back, I realized how ungrateful I had been. My lack of appreciation didn't just hurt her, it hurt me too. The deeper message here is this: gratitude builds bridges. When you express appreciation, you're showing people that you value them. You're acknowledging their hard work and reinforcing positive behavior. People respect those who recognize and celebrate the contributions of others. To cultivate gratitude, start small. Say thank you more often. Write notes of appreciation. Take time to reflect on the things you're grateful for each day. When you make gratitude a habit, you'll notice how much more people respect and admire you. Gratitude isn't just polite, it's powerful. Harmful habit number 14, being dishonest. The betrayal of trust. Honesty is the foundation of respect. If you're dishonest, even in small ways, you're eroding trust, and without trust, there can be no respect. I used to think little white lies were harmless. I'd exaggerate my accomplishments, downplay my mistakes, or tell people what they wanted to hear instead of the truth. But over time, I realized that dishonesty, no matter how minor, has a cumulative effect. Here's the cold, hard truth. Dishonesty destroys credibility. When you lie, you're not just misleading others. You're showing them that you can't be trusted. And once trust is broken, it's nearly impossible to rebuild. I remember a specific moment when my dishonesty caught up with me. I had told a friend I couldn't attend their event because I was sick, but they later saw me out with another group of friends. The betrayal in their eyes was devastating. They stopped confiding in me, stopped inviting me to things, and ultimately stopped respecting me. The deeper lesson here is this: honesty is a form of integrity. When you're truthful, even when it's uncomfortable, you're showing people that you value transparency and authenticity. People respect those who are honest, even if the truth is hard to hear. To break this habit, commit to radical honesty. If you mess up on it, if you don't know something, admit it. If you can't do something, say so. Honesty isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. When you live with integrity, you'll earn the respect of those around you and yourself. Harmful habit number 15, being self-centered. The isolation of ego. Being self-centered is one of the fastest ways to lose respect. When you're always talking about yourself, your needs, and your achievements, you're sending a clear message. You don't care about others. I used to dominate conversations, steering every topic back to me. I thought I was being interesting, but in reality, I was alienating people. Here's the truth. Self-centeredness isolates you. When you're focused solely on yourself, you miss opportunities to connect with others. You come across as arrogant, selfish, and uninterested in their lives. And no one respects someone who only thinks about themselves. I remember a time when a close friend confronted me about my behavior. "You never ask about me," she said. "It's always about what's happening in your life." Her words hit me hard. I realized I'd been so consumed with myself that I hadn't taken the time to truly listen to her or anyone else. The deeper message here is this: respect is reciprocal. When you show genuine interest in others, they'll show interest in you. Ask questions, listen actively, and celebrate their successes. People respect those who make them feel valued and important. To overcome self-centeredness, practice empathy. Put yourself in others' shoes. Focus on building meaningful connections rather than seeking attention. When you shift your focus from yourself to others, you'll find that respect naturally follows. These 5 additional habits, being overly critical, indecisive, ungrateful, dishonest, and self-centered, are subtle but powerful barriers to earning respect. Each one undermines your ability to connect with others, build trust, and command admiration. By addressing these behaviors and committing to positive change, you'll not only earn respect, but also create a life filled with meaningful relationships and authentic success.